Imagine gazing into the endless void of the universe, 13 billion years of darkness and silence stretching across a backdrop of stars so distant they barely register. Then suddenly, something flashes back, not at random, not by natural coincidence, but in a structured, rhythmic pattern. This is precisely what just occurred. The James Webb Space Telescope, humanity's most advanced and sensitive observational tool, had been scanning a sector of space believed to be empty. This region, long considered a void devoid of galaxies, stars, or any discernible celestial matter, was expected to yield nothing, but then something changed. A faint glimmer appeared, captured by the telescope's infrared sensors. It wasn't a star, nor was it a quasar. Its behavior didn't even align with how light should act at that cosmic distance. When researchers focused in, processed the information, and reconstructed the signal, they uncovered not just an anomaly, but a disruption. Some interpret it as a reflection. Others propose it might be a constructed formation. What is becoming increasingly evident, however, is that this light did not arise naturally. It was directed. The last time anything remotely similar was observed, the implications were profound and we were unprepared. The signal emerged from a region formerly classified as a cold zone, located just beyond the boundary of the Oort cloud. This area had been examined many times before, revealing nothing: no stars, no dust, no motion, a true blank canvas. But in mid-May, while the James Webb Telescope was conducting routine background calibrations, one of its instruments detected a discrepancy. The reading was faint, barely above background noise, but exhibited a consistent and precise rhythmic pattern, infrared pulses occurring every 11.2 hours. No known celestial object produces such a signal with this kind of exactness. Pulsars, for example, emit rhythmic energy, but they spin and decay. This signal was steady-unmoving. The Webb team conducted multiple checks to rule out hardware errors. The signal was analyzed against every known natural model in astrophysics. None matched. The pulses not only repeated, they showed variations within their modulation structured intervals that resembled binary coding. The source of the signal was located 1.1 to light years beyond the edge of our solar system, in a region too far for comets or space debris. And yet, there it was, something consistent, persistent, seemingly observing. As weeks passed and decoding efforts advanced, the nature of the light began to change. It was not originating from a singular point. Instead, it formed a lattice like a web. When its source was plotted in three-dimensional space, a symmetrical pattern emerged, hinting at a structure of immense scale, larger than Jupiter. This structure appeared capable of absorbing, reflecting, and emitting energy in a manner unlike any known material. What alarmed scientists most was this: the light wasn't radiating in all directions, it was focused, a concentrated beam aimed directly at Earth. The formation's symmetry shared characteristics with quantum interference patterns, as though engineered to manipulate or monitor spacetime itself. Further investigation revealed radiation signatures near the pulses that defied categorization, neither thermal nor cosmic. Some researchers speculated the readings might represent a type of energy unknown to physics, or worse, a form of communication utilizing geometry and space itself rather than traditional sound or signal. If so, this event was no accident. It may have been a test or even an invitation. And humanity had failed the first part by remaining unaware. What followed made the situation far more unsettling. The signal data was submitted to a highly advanced artificial intelligence platform trained to detect anomalies not only in astrophysics, but also in encrypted transmissions and symmetrical visual data. Within hours, the AI generated a visual model from the modulated pulses. What emerged was not static, it evolved over time. The initial image resembling a grid transformed into a spiral, then into complex waveforms that astonishingly mirrored human brainwave frequencies. Put simply, the light was not just transmitting, it was reacting. The signal changed based on the algorithm analyzing it, as if aware of being observed. This prompted some to call it the mirror signal. Theory suggested it could involve quantum entanglement or echo-like behavior similar to a cosmic sonar system. The AI soon detected embedded mathematical constants within the pulse intervals, pi, e, the Fibonacci sequence saw hidden with deliberate precision. These weren't mere signals, they were symbols meant to be recognized, meant to be deciphered. This led to a startling possibility. We were not the discoverers. We were the ones being activated. After the initial detection, a strange hush swept across the global scientific community. The raw data vanished from public repositories. NASA made no official comment. The European Space Agency denied any involvement, despite independent confirmations of the signal from ground-based infrared observatories in both Chile and South Africa. Behind closed doors, however, leaked documents suggested a far different scenario: emergency meetings, confidential military briefings, and reportedly, communication with U.S. Strategic Command. The signal had sparked concern beyond science. Why would a scientific anomaly prompt military alarm? Because a focused beam of energy from deep space is not merely an astrophysical curiosity. It could be a surveillance system, a technological artifact, a potential weapon, or a declaration of dominance. Some now fear this could signify imminent contact. Others suggest it might be an automated probe from a long-extinct civilization, now activating because Earth has passed some invisible threshold, perhaps in technology, artificial intelligence, or emissions, and maybe, just maybe, our curiosity was the wrong thing to transmit. As confidential discussions escalated, more researchers began to question the broader implications. Was this the first authentic signal from an extraterrestrial source? Oddly, even the most outspoken advocates for disclosure, Nobel laureates, SETI scientists, and astrophysicists became conspicuously silent. One prominent figure, in a leaked off-the-record comment, summed it up chillingly: "It's not a message we found. It's a mirror, and what it reflects terrifies us." Some believe this reaction stems from what is known in philosophy as the first contact paradox, the concept that contact with a superior intelligence would not arrive as a message, but as a transformation. Such a civilization wouldn't need to speak to us. It would simply show us something that forces us to reevaluate everything: ourselves, our species, and our understanding of the cosmos. If this light signal is part of that process, then we may not be awaiting alien visitors at all. We may already be living inside their transmission, unaware of our participation. As researchers applied new decoding techniques to the pulse data, an even stranger discovery unfolded. When the fluctuations were compressed into base for code, they began to resemble biological encoding systems. Some segments bore striking mathematical similarities to sequences found in human DNA. Although not identical, the parallels were strong enough to draw attention. One molecular biologist independently entered the sequence into a protein folding simulator. What emerged wasn't a theoretical construct, it formed a stable, biologically viable protein. No natural cosmic interference has ever yielded such a result. This raised an unsettling possibility: the light signal may carry more than information. It may carry the blueprint for life itself. If true, it lends weight to a hypothesis gaining traction: the idea that Earth was not seeded by ships, but by data, information broadcast across space, embedded in light, and designed to awaken only once a species became intelligent enough to perceive and interpret it. If so, this isn't the beginning of contact. It's the confirmation of something ancient, deliberate, and far-reaching. Despite official silence, the leaked data found its way onto the internet. AI enthusiasts, digital codebreakers, and independent researchers across the globe began analyzing and sharing results. Within days, thousands of visualizations emerged online. Here's what made them truly alarming: nearly all the renderings looked similar. Spiral patterns, symmetrical grids, latticework resembling neural networks. No matter the model used or the programming language employed, the visual outcomes converged. Even more bizarrely, they appeared to respond to emotional context uploads. with hostile or confrontational descriptions resulted in jagged, disordered visuals. Those presented with contemplative or peaceful intent produced harmonious, symmetrical imagery. This led many to believe the signal was interactive or responsive, loop built into the very fabric of the transmission. Not just a message, but a presence, something watching us as we attempted to understand it. Something that already knows what we fear. In the final recorded scan of the region, taken just before the live feed was inexplicably terminated, the telescope captured one more anomaly. This time, it wasn't light. It was a shadow and interruption moving across the beam. The silhouette was not random. It formed a clear, structured shape, tall, narrow, bifurcated at the top. When enhanced and rotated, it bore a striking resemblance to a humanoid figure, or at least something mimicking the human form. Initially dismissed as lens distortion or sensor interference, further scrutiny ruled out any atmospheric distortion, telescope movement, or reflective error. The shape was external, intentional. If artificial, it implies that whatever produced the signal wanted to be seen, not fully, not clearly.